Hello, everyone. I'm the Vacuuminator.
Buster.
And this week in Toku, we're going to be discussing the return of Jet Jaguar, Keiwa's Joker arc, and the Cosmic Fury rollout. But before all that, Buster, how you doing?
I just got Subway, so if you hear me chewing anytime throughout this episode, that's why. But overall, I kind of had an existential crisis yesterday. Not yesterday, just the weekend was just kind of bad for me mentally. I don't want to get into it,
That
but
time of
overall,
the week, huh?
yeah, that time of the week. But yeah, just like the weekend was just horrible mentally. But now I'm doing pretty good. I'm ready. I'm ready to just go. Let's talk about some
Are
good
you
ass
ready,
Toku.
SpongeBob?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we're
How are
feeling it now,
you?
Mr. Krabs. I'm pretty good. It's been a bit of a mixed day. I had a very pleasant first couple hours of my day, and then I got some news that really ticked me off. But now I've kind of gotten things a little more back under control. It's just how it goes sometimes. And I mean, overall, last week was like my most productive week in a few months, and I'm hoping to continue that this week into the holiday weekend and maybe get some extra stuff done with that extra time off work I'm gonna have.
Oh,
But
speaking of holiday weekend, this week is Eid, the second Eid of the year. So yeah,
yeah, it's Eid, and then you got the 4th of July next Tuesday. So just all kinds of celebratoriness going around.
yeah. So give us money and subscribe for presents.
Yeah, support the channel, everybody. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below with some of your thoughts on stuff that's happening this week in Tokusatsu. Give us a subscribe so you can get every episode as it comes out, as well as all the other modular media shows like our comic book podcast, our GI Joe and Transformers podcast, our shit shooting podcast, and our Hey You Free Fuckers Have to Watch This Now podcast. And also follow us on social media for updates on that. We got a Twitter, it's at the Modular Media, and we got a Tumblr, it's at Modular Media. And there's a TikTok where you can see clips of this show and the others that we do repost here as shorts. But you know, we're trying to get in that TikTok algorithm, get some more eyes on the product. So you can follow us on TikTok at Modular Media. But that's all the tugging I gotta do. So let's get into the news. Our top story this week: Toho has announced that they are making efforts to achieve zero CO2 emissions at their studios. Not really a lot of specific details given. They don't have like a hard deadline. It looks like it's just like they are introducing a plan to sort of clean up their act, as it were. And even then, I've never really like heard of Toei being a huge polluter. It's just, you know, it is the hip and trendy thing for companies right now to make a big public deal out of. We're going carbon neutral. Which is a good thing in my opinion. I very much believe that's a thing pretty much every company should do. So good on them.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah. This week in Godzilla Tat, Buster, do you have anything specifically you want to comment on, or should I just say what it is and move on?
Move on.
Okay, we got a new Millennium Godzilla studio from W Dragon. It looks fine. Super 7 is doing a Super Cyborg of Mechagodzilla. It looks like a figure from that line. And there's a weird PBC like ultra exclusive translucent glittery Godzilla that costs a stupid amount of money from Spiral Toys.
It looks like my vomit.
Yeah, it looks fucking awful. I don't know why anyone would want it out of. It's an exclusive I paid a lot of money for, and fuck that kind of collecting. Anyways, just a quick little tidbit. Legendary had a booth at the Licensing Expo 2023 event, which happened just this last weekend. If you're unfamiliar with that, it's basically companies getting together. It's like a more industry-only version of something like an SDCC, where companies basically go, this is what we're doing over the next year. Please invest in us. Like, that used to be how we always found out about what the next Power Rangers adaptation was going to be. Would be Saban would have, like, the first images of the new season at their booth. But Legendary had a big old Godzilla vs. Kong Monsterverse display, indicating that, yes, they are very serious about the continuation of the Monsterverse into the next couple of years. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, they just released that Netflix King Kong show, so...
Yeah, did you watch that?
No, I heard it was fine. That's all I
Hmm.
got.
I have no interest in it because I'm not much of a King Kong fan, and like it's animated, so who knows if the movies will ever acknowledge it. And I'm just a busy guy. But if you really liked it, leave a comment and tell us we should watch it, and maybe we will. Anyways, Toho has announced that they are going to commission a new Jet Jaguar suit for the character's 50th anniversary that they will feature in a new Godzilla short film releasing as part of Godzilla Fest next year. And they need our help to do it. Just like the last two times they've done this, they have a crowdfunding project where you can give them money to commission a new Jet Jaguar suit to be made. I don't think they'll have trouble getting this done because the other two campaigns were successful. But like I also didn't know until this news came up that those were campaigns. They had people pay to get those made. It's a little weird to me considering Toho's supposedly a major studio and this is their property, but whatever. These whole Godzilla Fest things are really weird.
Yeah, it's only 8% funded at the moment, so who knows?
Yeah, fingers crossed. I do really like Jet Jaguar. I've been hoping for years for an SH Monster Arts of his classic look, but
Yeah, I still need to
maybe,
see that anime where he played a major role.
yeah, I don't love the design from that, but I'm happy at least somebody did something with Jet Jaguar. Uh, anyway, let's move on to Ultraman news. We've gotten quite a bit of little details about Ultraman Blazar and some of the stuff going into the story structuring of it. First off, there was a TV interview with the director where he talked about Blazar's speech. It's supposed to be like grunts that are based on like the ancient language of hunters and how they would how they would hunt and kill monsters. And he's actually going to have different grunts in each episode, and they've developed like a pseudo language, almost kind of like how the people making Kuuga did for the Grongi way back when. Like, you're not going to be able to decode it, but they have a methodology behind things, and they've actually specifically said the first grunt he's going to give after he transforms is that language's word for hello, which I think is really cool. I love that they're putting that amount of detail into that kind of thing.
This also makes me like think, what is Blazer exactly in like the grand canon of Ultraman?
What if he's like a Land of Light caveman transported to modern day or something like that?
Yeah, like it makes me very curious of like what exactly he is. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Be interesting to see. And another thing that just came out via the official episode guide for the first few episodes, other than the first monster in the show, which is a returning monster, Barazanga, all the other monsters are actually going to be caused by humanity. There's going to be something humanity will do that will cause the monster to come into existence, i.e., misuse of chemicals and that sort of thing. So this is going to be kind of a pseudo environmental message show, it seems.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot of the Australian produced Ultraman Great or oh, no, Towards the
Towards the
Future.
future? Yeah.
Yeah, that it's very much like Towards the Future. So it's interesting that they're taking elements from that.
Yeah, there's so much like interesting little things going into Blazar and like what it's gonna be. I'm very interested to see how this show turns out. Like I said, I've never really been like hype for it, but I am extremely interested in just figuring out what the heck it is.
Yeah, I think that's part of my hype. So yeah,
Hmm. It's the mystery surrounding it. But
yeah.
we've also gotten a few more casting announcements for the official simuldub. Rico Fajardo, I'm going to say that's how you pronounce that last name, is going to be voicing Yusanobu Bando. Madeline Morris is going to be voicing Anari Minami. Nicholas Andrew Louis is going to be voicing Teruyuki Nagara. I've never heard of any of these people before, but I've not heard anything shitty about them in response to this news, so good for them. Hopefully they do a good job.
Yeah, they're like part of like the usual simuldub anime crowd, or like
Hmm.
they're up and comers. And I think Nicholas actually was in the Shin Ultraman dub So yeah, it's nice to see him come back to the Ultraman. And he's like said, he's a big Ultraman and Kamen Rider fan, so that's really cool.
All right, well, good for that. Good for him. It's always nice to see people who are a fan of something get to work in that industry. Like, I talked to you and Boingo a little bit about this off mic the other day, but recently, Hasbro put out like a Indiana Jones panel of just like a bunch of the toy designers from throughout the years getting together with the guys working on the toys for the new Indiana Jones movie and just talking about the development process over the years. And like Hasbro had never done anything before that, and it just made it really clear to me that the guy working on that line, who's always come off as like really awkward and PR speaky in streams, it made me realize like, oh, Indiana Jones is this guy's favorite thing, and he's really been pushing for them to do as much as possible for the brand while they can. And you know what? Good for him. Even though I've never been like super into him in streams, I'm glad he's getting to do that. So
yeah,
same kind of feeling here with Ultraman Blazar. And that's going to do it for the Ultra news. Let's move into some Kamen Rider news. First of all, SH Figuarts, Shinkocchou Seihou, Kamen Rider Puga. 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 Oh man, we need to get Puga on Bluga. Shinkocchou Seihou, Kamen Rider Kuuga, Rising Pegasus got its official solicitation this week, and along with that, Team Rider announced they are going to be distributing it through Premium Bandai US. I don't have a problem with this, because this is a show that you can watch in the US. You can buy this on DVD, you can stream it on Shout Factory and various other places. Good that they're releasing the toys for it here in the States, and I'm not particularly fond of any of the rising forms beyond, like, Amazing Mighty Kuuga. Like for me, the only forms you need is all the base forms, Amazing, Mighty, and Ultimate, but it's cool to see this form getting a new figure. It looks very, very good, because it's on the Shinkocchou Seihou Kuuga body, which by all accounts is amazing. So good on that. What's not good is they also announced that they're going to be doing a SH Figuarts 15th anniversary re-release of Kamen Rider Drive Type Tridoron, and Team Rider is going to be distributing that for Premium Bandai US. Cool. I like this form. It's one of my favorite final forms. I've heard this Figuarts is great. It goes for a lot of money on the aftermarket, so it's good that they're re-releasing it for newer people who want it. Where's the show?
Yeah, Drive on like legal release, because Drive was the first series I completed from start to finish.
Yeah, and like I have very fond memories of when Drive was airing. That and Gaim was like around the time I was really getting into it. Even though I'm not super fond of Gaim these days, I have nostalgia for it and Drive and the Sentais that were airing around that time. I think that was Tokuger Ninja times.
You have nostalgia for Ninja, this guy.
only in the fact that was airing around the time I was getting super into current Toku for the first time. Other than that, Ninja sucks ass. Yeah, can we, like, it would be very weird and random, but can Shout Factory put out Drive next, please? Hey, speaking of things coming to the US, randomly, we got the announcement this week that Shin Kamen Rider is going to get a global release on Amazon Prime. Now, they've not said specifically that this is going to be in the West, but it's pretty easy to assume so because it says over 200 countries. It's going to go up on July 21st, and I'm assuming there will be subtitles available for all the countries they release it in. And this is basically as close as we're going to get to a official home English release for now. That being said, I still want a DVD or a Blu-ray of this to get made.
Yeah, we still haven't got a Black Sun set, which is weird because Amazon's got some DVDs. So.
Did it? I never heard that.
Yeah, it got Blu-ray rips, so I'm like, weird. Anyway, yeah, I'm very excited because it's both of our favorite films of the year so far.
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna rewatch it and do a lot of pausing at some point.
Yeah, I'm so excited to just like rewatch it because like I can't wait to share it with like other people who like wanted to see it but missed the theatrical release, because I had a couple people saying, "Hey, where can I watch it?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, the theatrical release just ended." And they're like,
you should do like this is not an invitation for people to join it, but you should like maybe consider doing a movie night in your Discord server, Buster.
Yeah, I'll, like with some friends. Yeah, I'll think about doing it. Like I'll share it with some
Yeah.
fellas. Speaking of Shin Kamen Rider,
Hey, Premium Bandai announced this week that they are doing CSM releases for all of the belts from Shin Kamen Rider. There's going to be CSM belts for Riders 1 and 2, and I didn't read all of this. There is going to be a belt for Rider 0, but it's going to be a DX release. Not
odd.
sure how much of a difference there's going to be there, but I mean, here it is. You're getting the belts from this movie. If you're a hardcore belt collector, you're probably going to want to get these. I'm not. Like I talked about, I think it was literally last week. I have the Neo Deca driver, and that's kind of good enough for me for right now. I'd like to maybe get the original belt and Black's belt and maybe another Reiwa belt at some point, but for now, I'm pretty good on belts. I have been regularly eyeballing the Figuarts though, so
Yeah, same.
anyways, moving into stuff for the current Rider series, we've gotten a couple of announcements of new Kamen Rider Geats merch. There's going to be a hoodie that features all of the ID core little icons on it in kind of like a fun spattered about pattern, and there's going to be I think this is a reusable shopping bag with the DGP logo on it. The hoodie looks really cool. This is one of those times where I see Kamen Rider clothing and I'm like, I really wish that was available in the US because it's probably going to be overpriced as hell, but like, man, that would be a nice article of clothing to wear around because like it doesn't immediately scream Kamen Rider and it looks cool. The DGP bag I could kind of take or leave.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay, so this is kind of funny. As we've talked about several times, Kamen Rider ZX's face actor, along with the face actors for all the Ninja Riders, returned for the Kamen Rider Tycoon meets Kamen Rider Shinobi Toei Tokusatsu Fan Club special, which still isn't subbed as of this recording. We're still waiting on subs for that before we can watch it and discuss it. But somebody was doing some digging this week at Roboto Fu, found on the actor for ZX's Instagram that he actually posted about coming back in February. We could have known about this months and months ago instead of like just a few weeks ago, which is kind of hilarious.
That's funny.
Anyways, moving into more current Geats toy news. Obviously, Keiwa had a big new form debut in this week's episode of Kamen Rider Geats, and they've rolled out some merch for that. Premium Bandai is going to be releasing the DX Bujin Sword Raise Buckle, as well as the Revolve Change Bujin Sword figure. I know a lot of people are really upset that these are Premium Bandai releases, but like it's a last minute addition towards the end of the show. It's kind of to be expected these days, especially with the fact that we're now in like that last 10 episode chunk of Geats where all the show is probably filmed at this point, and they're probably like gearing up production for Gachard and getting those toys sent out to retailers. Because Bandai, with Rider and Sentai at least, is very on the ball about the day the first episode airs, the toys need to be in the store.
Yeah. See, I'm fine with Premium Bandai for like the final arc. It's just we've had Premium Bandai all season this year, so it's like it's very frustrating.
And I will admit, the Bujin Sword Buckle is like the most tempted I've been by a Geats toy in a long time. It just looks really solid, and it makes the toy look like a whole different, unique to Keiwa driver.
Yeah, it even looks like the original Tycoon when you like squint a bit.
It's a very solid design, and the Revolve Change figure looks good for that line, but I'm personally gonna wait for the Figuarts that'll probably be like a Tamashii Features exclusive or something like that.
Yeah, I hate that the Revolve Change is supposed to be the retail line. It's like, why is this Premium Bandai?
That does really suck, but hopefully everybody who wants it can get a hold of it. One of the rare times I will say, yo, Team Rider, where you at?
Yeah.
Okay, so this next bit we need to take with a massive grain of salt because it's that time of the year, everybody. Like I was just talking about, Kamen Rider Gachard is going to be airing in a few weeks, and it's time for all the rumors to start circulating before we start getting official images. Specifically, there is a potential leak of Gachard's base form that came out via Kamen Rider Gummies of all things. They put up a bunch of silhouettes of like, hey, this is what the new Kamen Rider gummies are going to look like when we release them in the fall, and it's all like blanked out, and somebody very specifically was like, hey, there's a little one down there that kind of looks like it's the outline of a character that might be Gachard. And then a day later, an image, like a really zoomed in, kind of blurry image of what looks like a Kamen Rider on the cover of a gummies package started circulating. Now, this is usually about the time we start seeing a bunch of stuff that doesn't actually turn out to be real but looks crazy. We had a Geats leak around this time during Revice, and same thing with Revice and Saber. Personally, I don't think this is Gachard. It does kind of match the description with him holding up a card, but like also it's a very abstract design that almost looks like a Kamen Rider you would get if you put in like the things we know about Gachard into an AI generator thing.
Yeah, it does look very AI generated.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks neat, but like it's too basic for like what the current design philosophy of these shows are.
I wouldn't mind it as like a movie throwaway guy, but I really don't think this is actually what Gachard looks like.
Yeah, just the Revice and Geats got their full rollouts in July. We're overdue. We're soon.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the Gachard.
Any day now, folks, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
But this ain't it. In case you saw it before the podcast came out and you think this is what Gachard actually looks like, let me just tell you, probably not.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's start transitioning into Sentai news with the fact that we got the first proper trailers for the Sentai and Rider summer movies this year. They're not like full 2-minute trailers for each movie. It's like you get 30 seconds for each movie, and we get a little bit of sneak peek of what's going on with them. The King-Ohger movie looks like it's kind of a alternate universe thing of like everybody gets trapped in a weird CGI world and they gotta find their way back to the actual world, giving me like Big Garo and the Wailing Dragon vibes, honestly.
It's very cool looking, I think.
Yeah. I don't love the aesthetic, but like it's not terrible and it's pretty well done for the kind of budget we expect from Sentai movies. And the Geats movie looks like one of those cases where they go, this show has been very serious and these writers have been, or these actors have been busting their asses trying to give really good performances. Let's just have some fun. Let's just do something silly. So it's like it looks like a world hopping thing with a bunch of different alternate versions of Ace that are very silly.
Yeah, it feels like the, how do I explain this? Like the O's and like Wizard movies, that like those shows like were like getting very serious near their final arcs, but the summer movies are just like fun bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and honestly, that's pretty cool. I think that's really cool, especially because like I feel like Geats like in general has been really serious, and I like that the side content is adding a bit more levity to it. So.
Yeah, it looks like a fun time. We'll definitely check out both of these for the show. I can't say I'm particularly hype about either one of them, but like they don't look bad.
Yeah, I just like King-Ohger will probably get around the end of like the sub around the end of its run, but like Geats we're probably getting like
we'll get Geats at like the halfway point of Gachard.
Yeah.
But moving into some merch news, this actually kind of annoyed me a little bit because it dropped literally while I was editing last week's episode. The Soto Super line is going to be doing Denji Sentai Mega Ranger. It looks like a Soto set of that team. You get all 5 of the guys or all 6 of the guys and gals, and they have literally all the accessories you could want. They come with all the different versions of their weapons. They come with tons of different hands, and they come with their cyber sliders. I still don't love the aesthetic or the scale these figures are in, but I know a lot of people have been really getting into this line recently, especially with so many people souring on Lightning Collection. I've seen a lot of people going to this and saying this is going to be my Sentai Power Rangers line from now on. And you know what? Fair enough, but it's not 6-inch scale, so I'm not buying it. These do look really good for what they are, though, and they're scheduled to release in December of this year, and they're going to be, as soon as I put this in a converter, like I should have been while I was talking earlier, $75 USD, roughly speaking. Anything else to add to this, Buster?
Nope.
All right. We also have the official solicitation and pre-orders for the Memorial Edition Hurricane Gyro, which is basically the CSM version of the Hurricaneger wrist morpher, also Power Rangers Ninja Storm, if you're a filthy American. I really want to be excited for this because, like, it looks like they're doing all the stuff they did with the Dino Brace of giving it, like, voice lines from the show and the new thing from the movie and all the stuff you would want. But for some reason, they decided to chrome all the gold parts. Even though the original toy didn't have that, and the show doesn't look like that. The one in the show is like a dull kind of gold paint, and the original toy was a metallic gold paint. This is just like... They put chrome on this for no reason other than, look, it's shiny, you want to buy it, right? And it's like, no, that's not show accurate. This line is supposed to be about show accuracy. That actually kind of annoys me that you did that.
Yeah, because, like, I'm looking at the two images here. Like, the toy is way shinier than the actual, like, prop they show on the new Hurricaneger form. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, like... If you're a massive Hurricaneger or Ninja Storm fan and you just really want like an updated version of the Morpher, this is probably going to be your best option for a long time because, like, I don't see Lightning Collection's roleplay toy line getting out of the Zordon era anytime soon. But I will say order this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And definitely, just one last thing. If you do get this, definitely be careful with it for at least the first couple of days, because I don't know like past uses of it in Premium Bandai, but there's not a lot of companies that do good chrome anymore. Chrome tends to chip a lot on newer toys right out of the box, so just be careful with this thing if you do get it. But all right, let's get into the Power Rangers news. First and foremost, we got a bit of a yikes, which is that Entertainment One has laid off 20% of its staff ahead of the sale. If you're not aware, we found out back at the beginning of the year that Hasbro was going to be selling off Entertainment One as they sort of re-envisioned their creative plan for all their franchises moving forward, and realized they no longer needed this extra studio. And the way I read into that was basically they went, oh, Paramount's really willing to work with us right now, so why don't we just have them do everything instead of like having our own little production company that we gotta pay for and make do stuff. So they've been working on finding somebody who they can basically liquidate Entertainment One to and have it get absorbed into some other company, which is not great. That's a thing that's always going to cost people their jobs, and this is just us seeing like the first bit of that, and we'll probably never know the full extent of this because it's a confidential business thing, and sucks for all these people. Laying off this much of their workforce is roughly around 2,000 people. So yeah, really, really sucks to hear that. I hope those people land on their feet wherever, whenever. And hopefully the people who are still with Entertainment One can find we'll get some good projects to work on wherever Entertainment One ends up going after it's out of Hasbro's hands.
Yeah, because like they're still like finishing up Cosmic Fury and even like outside of Toku, like Transformers Earthspark.
Yeah, though I think that is mostly like Nickelodeon Animation and freelancers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, true.
Okay, let's move into some merch news. First and foremost, we got a couple of Mighty Morphin merch announcements this week from high-end companies. First and foremost, Mezco announced their version of the Green Ranger within their 112 collective line. If you don't remember, they announced the main 5 Rangers as a general release box set a few months back, which I said, and I still believe, probably going to be the best figures of that team in that scale for a long time to come. And the same thing applies to Tommy, because it is a cloth bodysuit over an articulated skeleton with the gloves, boots, helmet, and shield being hard plastic, and it comes with a crap ton of accessories. You're going to get an unhelmeted Tommy head. You're going to get 12 different hand options. You're going to get a base. You're going to get a Blade Blaster holster, blast effects for it, the freaking Mega Heater from Rita's PETA, and a blast effect for that, the Dragon Dagger, blast effects for it, and the holster, the Sword of Power from the freaking Power Transport, and the Sword of Darkness. And that's all for $95, which I know sounds like a lot for one figure, but you got to keep in mind, like, all the limitedness and the amount of like handwork that goes into making a figure like this. And it's also a Mezco toy store exclusive. That's their online website, and it went up for pre-order earlier this week actually, and sold out within 2 hours. Currently they have a waiting list you can jump onto if you really want to get a hold of this thing, and you may end up getting it once they have the actual production copies shipping out. But for now, it's kind of in the territory of join the wait list. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll have to go to eBay. I think it looks really good. That being said, I'm not getting it just because I didn't get the rest of the team, and it's a lot of money for a figure of a Tommy version I don't particularly care about. You have anything to add to that, Buster?
No.
Okay. Also, Free Zero announced that they are releasing a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Armored Black Ranger. If you're not aware of Free Zero, it's basically the same kind of thing as what Mezco does with 112 Collective, but these figures are 12 inches tall, 1/6 scale. Think like Hot Toys and stuff like that, or like Barbie and G.I. Joe if you want to go for like more basic retail stuff. This is basically just going to be the base Black Ranger figure, but with the shiny Green Ranger shield and the power axe and a holster Blade Blaster in hands, and not much else, because this is a bigger figure. It's going to be a more limited run because it's such a limited use of that suit, and it's going to run you about $100. I don't collect in this scale. I don't personally care for these at all. But it's there if you want it, and I mean, it's cool that they made that look. I like that we're more regularly getting that look in figure lines now, ever since Lightning Collection did it, really. Because there was the Figuarts a few years before that, but I feel like when Lightning Collection did it, it became a thing of like, oh yeah, that's the natural reuse of your MMPR black body. So cool to see that continuing, but that's all the MMPR merch news. Let's move into a little bit of Cosmic Fury news. First of all, it came out this week via some digging on the Power Scoop's part that Cosmic Fury was actually filmed in 6K with Red 5 Raptor cameras, and is going to be downscaled to 4K in the edits, which basically... it's still going to look really crisp and sharp. It's just they have to move it down to that level of resolution to make it easy enough for their VFX department to do stuff. Personally, I'm really excited about this, because if they have as good of a cinematographer as they had in some of the later episodes of Dino Fury, this could be the best looking season of Power Rangers ever.
Yeah, legit. I very high hopes. Probably I will say, because Q Ranger was shot, because the Q Ranger footage that they're going to use for mecha fights, they'll probably look a bit funky upscale to 4K, but we'll see.
Yeah. But that's also going to be like a very small part of the episodes from what we understand at this point.
Yeah.
But That's not all we found out about the show this week. Thanks to a photo posted by one of the stunt performers for Cosmic Fury, we discovered that we're going to get another return of the character Mechanic, as portrayed by Kelson Henderson, originally in Ninja Steel, and then again in one of the early episodes of Dino Fury. They're going to run into him out there in space somewhere, and I'm willing to bet we're going to get an entire episode that's about wrapping up whatever the hell has been going on with the Ninja Nexus Prism Post series. I'm not particularly excited for this because I didn't finish Ninja Steel. I don't care for Mick. I don't care for most of the stuff from that season. But that episode wasn't terrible, that episode of Dino Fury. And like Kelson Henderson's a cool guy who I'm always excited to get to see again. So it's kind of catch-22 with this.
Yeah, it's just more like I'm excited to see Kelson again. Like.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully the episode's good. Hopefully it doesn't get into like a too stupid of a lore thing, but it'll probably be like just, hey, the Ninja Nexus person was roaming around at the beginning of Cosmic Fury. What's that about? Let's explain that. Let's tie that into what we're doing in this season, kind of a thing.
Hopefully.
And speaking of stuff we're doing in Cosmic Fury, thanks to Blaze Toys on Instagram, the box art for the Cosmic Fury Megazord is now out in the open, and actually Leanne Hanna on Twitter said that she is the actual box artist.
Yeah, she's been doing a lot of the Cosmic Fury just art in general. Like, she did the Morpher art too.
Yeah, and I like the way this box looks. Obviously, it's Q Reno. It's the basic configuration of Q Reno, but it looks good in this style. And I think it's interesting that this year they're tying the Zord Link gimmick into just the way the Q-Tamas work with this thing, and it'll be interesting to see again if those things are even going to be acknowledged in Power Rangers and how they're going to work.
I'm just excited to get Q Reno. This is probably gonna be the best toy of it, honestly.
Yeah, I've heard through a source that, like, not to get too hype about it, but I'm hoping it will at least have like hip joints and a knee joint of some kind, because that's the Q Reno is a freaking brick that only has shoulder joints. So as long as you give me like universal shoulders and hips and like elbows and knees, that'll be a marked improvement over the original.
Yeah, because like I know like they gave the Beast Morphers a Dino Fury. I only own the Dino Fury Red Zord, which is basically just the base Megazord for that show. And that's a really good toy compared to the brick of the Rhea Soldier one, from what I heard. So yeah, it's probably expected to get articulation.
Mm-hmm. And finally, yesterday, I don't think I ever saw who specifically found it. I just have a link from Per Ranger here. Somebody discovered the Zenith Ranger roleplay set at a Target. I don't remember if we heard about this for like listings or something at some point. This is my first time hearing about it that I can remember. But basically, it is a mask meant to resemble the Zenith Ranger's helmet, and it's a new version of the Chroma Fury Saber with a different looking blade configuration. I don't remember this being on his person in that one scene at the end of Cosmic Fury, but it'll be interesting to see if this is like his default weapon in the show.
Yeah, it looks like the dagger from Dino Fury, just like here's an updated version of that. It's pretty, actually, like, I'm gonna be honest, I like the gold on the toy more than the suit.
Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. I've never bought one of these roleplay sets, not for Power Rangers, but for anything. But like it's there for the kiddos, and hopefully some kiddos get it and enjoy it. Also, I'm just gonna take a quick aside before we move on to the next segment. There's been a lot of doomsaying in the fandom again over the last couple of days. Of like, oh, we don't have listings for basic figures. They're just gonna fart this show out and then move on to whatever they're doing next, and then we're gonna get like nothing in between. They don't even really care about Cosmic Fury. Bitch, shut the fuck up! We're not even close to the show releasing yet. This is early shit that's kind of trickling out. Have some fucking patience, for Christ's goddamn sake. Oh, I can't stand you people anymore.
Yeah, basically, like, you're all stressing me out. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're all unfun.
It's like you ever like just look at your timeline and think of that fucking quote from Men in Black of like a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, and easily startled, and you know it.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to see Men in Black.
Oh, you gotta see at least the first Men in Black. That movie's a fucking classic.
Yeah, I really gotta, like. But you know
Yeah.
what we did see? The new episodes.
Yeah, we watched a lot of new episodes. So that's all the news that's fit to print. Buster, take us on to the new releases.
Pink Tokusatsu Creation Jusiris, Episode 8. The mind is inconsistent, like the show?
Yeah, this episode was a proper mess, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we're back to confusing bullshit that's Episode S.
It's like there's a lot of like vague fucking just spouting off from G Cyrus specifically in this episode of like, yeah, I don't care about the rules, so I was able to come back to life immediately. Also, like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to fulfill my destiny, and it's my destiny to shepherd main character lady through her destiny, and her destiny is to go through all the different worlds and collect these fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards for some reason. Anyways, I'm gonna choke her to death now. Let's move on to the next episode. The being here was completely pointless other than exposition and one cool fight scene.
I don't
Great.
like. I get like that this show is trying to ask me to read between the lines, but you gotta give me like stuff to read between instead of just shout vaguely shit. I don't know. It's like,
it really does feel like, and I know it isn't, because you gotta plan this shit out, you gotta reserve locations, you gotta get actors scheduled, but it really does feel like Masahiro Inoue is just like pulling a Stan Lee. He's just sitting on his fucking couch going, what if this happened? What if we said this was a thing with the character and like this is the direction we moved in now? And then fucking somebody else is doing the Jack Kirby or the Steve Ditko going like, all right, I'll figure out a way for that to make sense. Except there's not somebody else there for him. And it's just like a weird fucking floaty show.
I don't know, man. At least superhero time is good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Kamen Rider Geats episode 41. Genesis 3, the Jet Black Shogun. Peak, gas!
It was real good. I liked it. I also was pleasantly surprised that although we thought it was for a long time, the new form isn't Tycoon Shogun. It's Bujin Sword, which that word in English can mean like either military or warrior. So it's essentially like warrior sword, which is a cool name for a form. Although I do feel the need to point out the like CGI graphic they put for the transformation sequence, the font they used, it makes it look like the form is called Butt in Sword.
Us Americans. But yeah, I think what I like about this episode is a line that Keiwa says towards the end of his fight with Buffa, saying, like, where Buffa's like, "You've changed, man," and Tycoon's like, "I haven't changed," despite his, like, new, darker path.
Yeah.
Because he still has the same ideals, it's just a different way of going about them.
Yeah, everybody's been talking about like, oh man, they're completely swerving us with Keiwa, and he's gonna become like the big bad of the show. This is Michi all over again. What have they done to our boy? It's like, do y'all not remember like what was it, episode 4, where he had a freak out like this and was like, I'm like super fucking pissed about Ace betraying him?
Yeah,
they've been hitting in this direction the whole time, and though I don't love what happened to Sarah last week, it makes sense, especially with Keikara's constant goading that is in this episode of like he wants Keiwa to go in this berserker like fuckboy Joker arc direction, and that's a thing that Keiwa is going to have to fight his way out of, probably via the power of friendship with Ace. Like I don't know if y'all have seen a Takahashi Rider season before, but like this tends to be a thing they do with their good boy characters. This kind of thing happened with both Emu and Aruto towards the end of their shows, and it makes sense here. I'm not at all worried. I'm actually kind of enjoying the ride at this point of like, oh man, this sucks to see my boy doing this. I mean, the new suit's cool. I don't love it, but it's a cool suit. But also, I'm worried for my boy, and I'm worried for the old fuckboy who just got dethroned and brutally murderized.
yeah. I do think we're still gonna get a fight of Ace and Tycoon near the end or at the end of the show of like their ideals, because I feel like the entire show's kind of been building to that in some way. Like, so come on, give me the white fox versus black Tycoon, like black Tanuki fight. Come on, come on, come
Mhm.
on.
I think it might actually be next week. We might see Ace step right in and go, "Hey, snap the fuck out of it. We're supposed to be buddies."
Yeah, and also our good friend Boygo mentioned it. He has a traditional rider kick, and like
In the next time preview.
yeah, the next time preview. And like Boingo's pointed out, mostly traditional rider kicks, like unless it's like a beam struggle esque thing with like Kronos and X8 at the end of their show, they're
Mhm.
usually reserved for like still traditional common riders. So,
Yeah.
I could be wrong. But like, that's an interesting food for thought. So,
Yeah. I also want to say, aside from the fact that I knew it was coming, I love the way they play the whole lead up to him becoming a fuck boy of randomly jumping in and being like, I'll take Surumi to safety, and then he manipulates her into making the new buckle. I thought
yeah.
that scene was really well done. And also all the stuff early on of just Neon and Ace talking about Sarah's death and Neon still wanting to be a writer. And oh my god, that scene where she goes and visits his dad and it's just like, this man is beyond hope. Ooh.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll lead to Neon's new power, which we haven't seen any listing.
Yeah, but it has long been rumored that all three of the supporting characters are going to get final forms. We've known about Tycoon Shogun for a long time, and the rumor I think is something like Buffa Rampage, something like that, and Nago Fantasy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, there's
but
enough time I could see them squeezing them all in, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of fun shit, we got Hyper Battle video. Been a while.
Mhm.
Geats, what the hell? That's an actual translation from what I heard. Desire Grand Prix full of men. I'm Oja. What a funky title aside, I really like this one.
Yeah, this is just kind of stupid, goofy fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like let's distill like a filler arc of the Desire Grand Prix into one 20-minute segment. Also,
Yeah, this feels like if Geats had done a Dark Kitchen arc.
What Vac English?
The Dark Kitchen from Kabuto.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. I have never heard that phrase before.
Okay, that's the thing I used to hear bandied about all the time. Is like, oh man, the Dark Kitchen arc is so goofy and crazy. It doesn't feel like it belongs in that show, but it's great. But yeah, it's just a lot of goofy fun. It feels like a bunch of net movies all squeezed together, and I enjoy net movies. I enjoyed this kind of goofy stuff, and I like that they actually kind of tried to slot it into the order of events. I think it's supposed to happen right after the first time Buffa got murderized.
Yeah.
And he's in purgatory, and it also directly references stuff that happened in the Geats Revice movie.
Yeah, with because you got the Ryuki and Oja buckles, so good shit. It's fun. The fights are good. I like the Ryuki references. They felt they were cool to see. I like the jokes. Jokes were pretty cute. Visual humor. And also like the little dance they made. I wonder if that's...
all the dancing was fun.
Yeah, especially Tycoon's little cheeky grin that cracked me up.
Oh man, that was super well. I know they didn't do that at all, but that felt super well timed with him doing a bunch of fuckboy shit this week, and then you have him doing a cheeky silly grin in this. Oh man.
Yeah. Oh man, it was going from 41 to this Hyper Battle video was the best kind of whiplash ever.
Yeah, it's like you ate your vegetables and then they gave you a nice cupcake.
Yeah, it's good shit. Yeah, I'd recommend this. This is way better than the last Hyper Battle video we had. Revice, what the hell are you speaking of that Hyper Battle video? Anyway, King-Ohger?
Yeah.
For our final release, we got Osama Sentai King-Ohger, episode 17, The King Alone Does Not Run.
I think this episode was good, but I was really tired when I was watching it, so it didn't really hit for me, I gotta be honest.
It hit for me. We got some cool Gira and Yama moments, and they're a great duo. And even just individually, we finally see Gira come out of hiding and just be like, "Yo, screw you, Hercules," and Yama getting his like big last stand, like I'm for the people and I'm gonna fight for the people. Also, like more like, oh, of course Jeremy and Kaguragi would work for like the intentions of what Hercules is attempting to do. And also we get Extreme King-Ohger, which is
Yeah, I did like the stuff surrounding this episode. Like I enjoyed Jeremy and Hercules' little back and forths that happen all throughout it, where he's like I have secured peace for Shogadam. You mean all of humanity, right? I have secured peace for all of Shogadam.
yeah, it's good. Like good. And this really does feel like Game of Thrones for kids. I haven't watched Game of Thrones, so I don't know.
Neither have I, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but
Yes.
it's good. I like it. It's just this episode. Like again, I think I would have liked this episode a lot more if I had not watched it while I was kind of sleepy.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But it's still a good episode. Very excited for next week. Honestly, both superhero time shows, they ended on really cool cliffhangers this week.
Yeah, because it looks like next week we're gonna finally get like the let's fucking dethrone Hercules already arc.
Yeah, and also a new power up that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, there are official images for that floating around finally, but I figured we'd just wait and talk about it when it's in the actual show.
Yeah. I guess I'll talk about my thing because I already made a video about old stuff and toys time because we finished all the new releases. I already made a video on this, but I watched the Magnificent Zubat. A thing I didn't mention in this video, and the reason I probably decided to watch this before Kamen Rider V3, the main actor played V3.
Yeah, this man's he's like an earlier Showa Keiji Obata because he's got Zubat, he's got a Sentai role, and he's got a Rider role. So they need to give this man like some Toei Tokusatsu fan club stuff, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you already like in the '90s, he was already reprising his role in commercials, like just like in like pop culture Japanese shows. Like, there's these really cool commercials floating around for the PS1 game Superhero Operations, where he legit in character as Zubat. So that's great. And like
From
Zubat,
what I've heard, Zubat is like the Japanese equivalent of the Fawns.
he kind of does. He's very cool. Like, yeah. Again, he is. As I say in the video, he is pure cool. And like I'd say like I compare him to like this is the first cool guy Toku protagonist, or at least that like Geats and like Don Momotaro and like all the other Gokai Red it like are aspired to be, you know?
Yeah, I have been meaning to watch Zubat for years because people have always told me it's fantastic. I just I'm a busy guy.
Yeah, I'd say give it like don't watch it immediately after 1971 because it's very Showa episodic, but it's very fun. So
Yeah, I haven't talked about this publicly, but I think I've said it to you a couple of times. After 1971, I want to do something. I want to do something Heisei, and I want to do something that's not that's not superhero time. So we'll see how that goes. What that ends up being because I'm still a ways off from that.
Yeah, speaking of a ways off,
I watched only 2 more episodes of 1971 this week. I'm not like burning out on the show or anything. I was just really busy this week. Yeah, just kind of 2 fun filler episodes. Feels like we might be transitioning into like a slightly different feel for the show because something felt different about these episodes. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. They're not bad. They just felt like they were trying a different thing.
I mean, you are close to the end of like the Nego arc, so.
Well, there you go. But yeah, it's 1971. I like it. But also, I got it a few weeks ago, but I finally opened SHF Zenkaiser this week, which I think is the only Figuart both of us own.
Yeah, I'm holding mine right now.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pick up my guy because he's sitting in a dio next to me at this point. I really like this figure. This is a very good SH Figuarts. It's still got some Figuartsy problems to me. Like I don't love the leg setup. It's a little hard to kind of get the hips to work the way I want them sometimes, but I really appreciate all the like wrinkles in the sculpt of the legs and the arms as well. However, those wrinkles do tend to make the elbows a little limited. I find you have to like very specifically work them to get them to fully articulate, which I don't love. But what I was surprised to find I love, the vinyl cape on this is actually really nice because it lays completely naturally. And I didn't think about this because, you know, I'm usually pretty militant about like I want cloths. I want capes on toys to be cloth and to have wires running through them so I can pose them however I want for a shot. But like I was looking at Google Images of Zenkaiser while I was opening and first messing around with this thing. His hip cape kind of just tends to always lie the same way like it does on this figure. So it's not like a huge loss that it's not cloth. And I also like that it's removable. So you can just like pop it off, get the pose you want, and then pop it back on and let it do its thing. I was also really surprised with how well the shoulder pads work. I only had one of them pop off on me once, and usually they're pretty good about getting out of the way on their own. Only like once or twice did I have to manipulate them. And I mean, usually I had to futz with them to get them to look right after posing the arms, but I'm fairly used to that with shoulder pads on figures anyway. And the other thing I was really impressed with, the hand swaps on this thing is actually pretty easy. Like they're not super like just pop on, pop off, but I don't feel like I have to be as specific about how I apply the pressure and like have to do it 2 or 3 times to get it to actually stick like I did on Zet and have had on a few other Figuarts. There's a very nice like just kind of soft wiggling with these that I really appreciated. Other than like 1 or 2 very minor missing paint apps. The Gear Delinger came out fairly nice. Would have liked it if it could open, but the fact that you can actually turn the crank on it is really impressive on its own. Overall, I think this is a really good Figuarts release. Definitely has me more confident about other future Sentai Figuarts, which we may or may not talk about in future episodes of this podcast. I would not mind seeing them continue with this and maybe even get some older characters that we're probably not going to get in Lightning Collection, like I don't know, Zuo Eagle and Tokyo Ichigo.
Please, like at least Tokyo Ichigo, because that's when they stopped doing Figuarts. So it's like, come on, you gotta do it for him.
Yeah, and like I like Wright and Yamato as characters as well, so I would be super stoked to get those. Not that I don't like Kaito as a character. Kaito's a great character, and like that's the thing about like I know the character well enough, and this suit is character full enough that I was able to just get like tons of ideas for photos just from messing around with him in the last couple days and executed most of them. So you'll probably be seeing a lot of figure photography of this guy on my Instagram at @the_vacuuminator over the next well, probably not for a few weeks because I've got a backlog of stuff I need to post first, but it'll be up by the end of, you'll start seeing stuff by the end of July. I think that's everything. I think that's everything we have to talk about this week. So, Buster, why don't you tell the folks where they can find you out there on the internet?
Hey, I'm Buster Corp. I do various videos on the youtube.com/BusterCorp. As I said previously, I did a video on the Magnificent Zubat. If you want to see like a quick little retrospective of like what is that show about, like trying to sell you on it because it's a good show. I'm also at Twitter at BusterBoy3 if you just want to follow me being annoyed at people. And I'm also at TikTok, I think at Busters Corp. Yeah, I don't know, you'll find me. The TikTok algorithm is pretty good about when you find people. That's all I got. Vac, where can people find you?
Hey, I'm the Vacuuminator. I make YouTube videos. They're things I'm fairly proud of. You can find them on YouTube at the Vacuuminator. I also have a TikTok where I post clips of my older videos. That's up at the_Vacuuminator. As I said earlier, I have an Instagram where I post action figure photography on the daily. That is also at the _Vacuuminator. And I have a Twitter and Tumblr where all that stuff tends to get collated. That's at the Vacuuminator and thevacuuminator.tumblr.com. So go check out all that stuff. Give me some engagement. Help me out in the various algorithms and things. And folks, I think that is it. That is everything for this week at Tokusatsu. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you back here next week to discuss whatever happens that week in Tokusatsu.